Hey bunnies and welcome back. Also, you're bunny, a cozy space to talk about books. I decided to spend some money on Water Books, which is one of my favourite secondhand bookshops online. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little unboxing. So I don't think I've ever done an unboxing before. So yeah, and then you can see what books I bought, my kind of like initial reactions to them, etc, etc. So yeah, let's unbox some books and get on into it. Just got some scissors because I am not very good at ever tearing these packages. We're starting off with this package. I'm going to try really hard not to show my address on here because that wouldn't be very good. I am awful at opening parcels, everything. Oh, okay. So in here, we first of all have High Rising, in which I had this recommendation. Well, I didn't have it, but I got this recommendation from Miranda Mills, who my reading tastes are really starting to align with hers, and she recommended this one. I'm not quite sure what it's about, apart from the fact that it seems very cozy, British, perhaps, and yeah, I'm just really intrigued by it. I'm hoping for a comforting time. Then I accidentally got this book again. I recently was in Southampton for a hospital trip and I picked up this book in Waterstones and I accidentally ordered it again, but that's okay. I will gift it out to somebody. I must have accidentally put this in my save later, but then didn't realize and checked out. And then also I have A Room with a View. I am really getting interested in so much more classic literature and classics and older published books, and they just sound so intriguing to me at the minute. So I wanted to get this one and I hope that I really enjoy it. So that is the first parcel complete. Let me just try and cut like that. Oh, this is awful. There's like parcels within parcels. Okay. Okay, so in this next package, first of all, we have quite a few Miss Marples. So if you didn't know, Agatha Christie, I've recently started reading this year, and she has been a safe haven for me through a very tough time in terms of my health, and especially I am enjoying reading Miss Marple. I haven't read much Poirot yet. I'm trying to make my way through every single novel written by Agatha Christie, and so far down there, I think I have about 5 Miss Marples now that I've read and loved, and so this one is The Mirror Cracked from the Side. So I'm really interested and intrigued about this one. And then I also have The Bookseller's Tale, in which I read Diary of a Bookseller, in which is by a bookseller in which they have a shop in Wigtown in Scotland, and they basically just wrote their diary for a whole year, and in this they had some recommendations for different books for book lovers, etc. So I had this one in there, and so I decided to pick it up because I recently read Diary of a Tuscan Bookshop, and in there they recommended George Orwell's like 7 essays and the specific one about books, and I loved that little snippet. Obviously this isn't George Orwell, but it's still like a recommendation from that realm, so I really am hoping that I enjoy this one as well. And then we have The Enchanted April, in which again is another recommendation in which I got from the lovely Miranda Mills, in which she said this is very good for spring and it has that kind of encapsulation of spring in a book, so that's why I bought it. Speaking of recommendations I had recently, I'm really wanting to get into William Wordsworth poetry specifically, and I know that his sister was a huge inspiration to him, so I have this book by Dorothy Wordsworth. I'm really interested to see kind of how they work together and then read them in tandem, and yeah, just kind of feel the atmosphere that hopefully they felt when writing their own poetry and words. And then again with the classics, we have Far from the Madding Crown by Thomas Hardy. My boyfriend's mum actually recommended this classic to me. She said that I would really like it, and so because obviously all of these books are secondhand, and I have a World of Books Plus membership, which means you can get extra savings on books as well as they are already heavily discounted. Yeah, I decided to pick up books that I was just really interested in. So yes, I am so excited for all of these novels, honestly. Books at the minute, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're as much of a book lover as I am. But going through quite a few house struggles at the minute, and books have honestly been my safe space, my safe haven. I mean, they always have in my life, but especially now, it just makes me realize how much I adore books. Oh, okay, so I'm trying to get it out. So this is my very first Persephone. Obviously it's secondhand, and I definitely want to get actual Persephone books. But I kind of like took a quiz online on their thing, and it said that I would quite like this one. And so yeah, this is Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winfred Watson, and I'm really intrigued, and I cannot wait to hopefully love this one and read more Persephone books, because they just have piqued my interest for so very long. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about them all. Oh, then we have Halloween Party, which is in the stunning cloth bound edition. Like, how is this secondhand? This is insane. Anyway, sorry. So this is a Priory one, and I am collecting these cloth bound editions of the Agatha Christie books, as well as just in general collecting Agatha Christie because I'm loving it. I haven't read this one yet. And yeah, I'm very intrigued and excited to read that one. Then we have another Miss Marple, in which is a little bit battered, but that's okay. Oh, and it's hardcover. And this is The 13 Problems, by Agatha Christie, of course. I don't think I've read this one. Maybe I have. I'll have to look back. I feel like they kind of just all blur into one, because that's one of my favourite things about Agatha Christie, is how samey. I don't want to say that as a criticism, but a lot of the books, specifically the Miss Marple books, are. And that provides so much comfort to me. I know a lot of them are like very different and very structurally different, and the different characters that are involved in them, but I'm especially finding the Miss Marple ones that I've picked up recently feel very comforting, because they feel very samey, which I'm loving. So yes, this is The 13 Problems. Oh yes. And then, speaking of Miss Marple, we have this big book in which is 50 stories from Miss Marple by Agatha Christie, in which I'm loving. So I borrowed Sinister Spring from the library recently, in which that was a collection of short stories by Agatha Christie, in which had the whole range of detectives in, including Tommy and Tuppence, Poirot, and a few others who I didn't really like as much. But anyway, yeah, so I decided that I'm quite enjoying the short story element, and thought that this would be fun to kind of just flip through and flick back in if I'm kind of in the mood to read a specific, or just an Agatha Christie book in between other novels. So yes, intrigued. And then, oh yes, we have a British Library crime classic. So I read my first British Library crime classic not too long ago, which was Tea on Sunday, I believe it's called, and by Letters Cooper. I absolutely adored it, honestly, absolutely adored it. And so now I want to read the rest of the British crime classics, and I found this one, and this is Continental Crimes. So hopefully this one is just as good as the other. Oh, so we have about 3 more parcels that have to go. I know this is so many books, honestly, I know, but because these are all secondhand and I got them relatively cheap, it means you can buy more books and have more options. Oh, okay, so this is Ulysses by James Joyce. I have never read Ulysses, and I know it's quite a Marmite book, like Marmite classic, I think. There are a lot of people who just get it and they love it and they preach about it, and it's like special and sacred to them, and then other people just don't get it and absolutely hate it because of it. So I'm going in with no expectations and just wanting to hopefully have a movie good time, and yeah, just see what it's all about, because I just want to read it and experiencing it. So yeah, I'm very excited to do so. To overuse the word excited, I really need to think of another adjective when talking about books, but I feel like it's quite apt to say excited, because I am. Okay, so this first book is The Reluctant Bride by Lucy Mangan. I read Bookish by Lucy Mangan. She is a author who writes for The Guardian, and which is like a UK paper, and I picked up Bookish, in which is her memoir to books being like an adolescence. She also has Bookworm, in which Bookish is the sequel to Bookworm, which I didn't realise at the time because I was just browsing in London and Waterstones and saw it and it sounded interesting, so I read it. And I haven't yet read Bookworm, but I loved her writing so much that now I want to read everything by her, and her love for books is, honestly, I adore books, but her love for books is so infectious that it just makes me want to go back to my bookshelves and just read everything. And yeah, I just find her so easy to read and so amazing in terms of her narrative style and etc. And so yeah, I want to read all of her backlog, so that includes that. Then we have another British crime classic, in which is Death of a Bookseller. Again, don't know much about this. I'm trying not to know much about it going in because I didn't know much about Tea on Sunday and I ended up loving it. So yeah, another British crime classic to hopefully sink my teeth into and enjoy. Then I need to open the package a bit more because I can't get to the book. A book I have been wanting to read for so many years now is, oh my gosh, it's so heavy and big, is *ᴍᴘᴇᴱ. I have never read this, but I know it is such a beloved book. And I think I'm just in the season of life where I'm just wanting to now experience and read books that previously I have always wanted to read, rather than worry about keeping up to date with like the most anticipated releases or like most recent releases, in which I'm loving this period of life. So anyway, yes, this is *ᴍᴘᴇᴱ. Like I say, wanted to read it for quite some time and haven't got around to it, so now I have the copy in my hands and it's absolutely massive, so hopefully I like it. I'm very intrigued by it. And then we have, again, I'm loving non-fiction at the minute. I just love reading a non-fiction, then a fiction, non-fiction, then a fiction. And so we have the most interesting book in the world, in which has become highly recommended quite a lot of times. So just something to hopefully dip in and dip out and enjoy. Similarly with The Shepherd's Life, I recently, like as in finished last night, You Are Here by David Nichols, and that was kind of like a walking romance, if that's the description, and they were going on a hike and they were describing the scenes and the scenery, and I love nothing more than the countryside and going on walks and expeditions and hiking, and so I'm really intrigued by The Shepherd's Life. I haven't ever visited the Lake District, but I so desperately want to, so I'm hoping that this can transport me there before I can get there physically, and yeah, I cannot wait to read it. And then we have, similarly going on the kind of book theme, The Bookshop Book by Jen Campbell, who is a fellow kind of like YouTuber slash booktuber, and also obviously an author. And I have wanted to read this for quite some time because it is a book for book lovers, because it is like in realm of the bookshop. So yeah, again, very interested, excited and intrigued. So this is the final package that we have to unbox today. Okay, so going on the non-fiction theme, if I can get it out, we have the Agatha Christie autobiography, in which, because I'm adoring Agatha Christie so very much, I obviously wanted to read an autobiography. So yeah, I've got this one to hopefully sink my teeth into when I don't necessarily want to read a fiction Agatha Christie. I can read a non-fiction one. And then we have a few more. We have A Caribbean Mystery by Agatha Christie. Again, haven't read this one. I think this is a Miss Marple, and very intrigued to get to it. And then because I'm so new to like Agatha Christie, murder mysteries, crime fiction, I had a recommendation from someone and I looked online that you can go with Dorothy L. Sayers once you've kind of like read Agatha Christie, because obviously I love Agatha Christie, but I just don't want to stick in that realm. Like I want to experience other authors, hence why I'm picking up the British crime classics as well. And I've heard that Dorothy L. Sayers is spectacular in her writing, and specifically this is a good place to start, so hopefully it is. And also PD James on the back as well, and I think that is another good area to branch off into and author to read, so I cannot wait to see how I fare with this one. And then we have A Room Called Earth, in which I had this book years ago, and because I've moved a couple of times now, I lost it on my move. And I know that this book, I think, follows an autistic main character. Yeah, a neurodiverse main character, and I think she's autistic. And it's just basically describing about her life and can relate about feeling overwhelmed exceptionally. So cannot wait to get to that one. Another Agatha Christie, which is A Murder is Announced. I do own a small mass market paperback copy of this book, but it's so hard to read, and so this is a Miss Marple as well. So cannot wait to get to that one. And then the final book, in which, oh, it's a special edition, is God Mission Park, in which I think is very similar to like a Regency romance style Jane Austen. Yeah, so then a dashing Henry Austen and his younger sister Jane comes to stay. So I think it's like a telling of like a Jane Austen romance, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but very intrigued because I heard Jane Austen, one of my favorite authors, and decided to press buy. So those are all of the books that I have ordered recently, that I've got, and that I'm, again, to use the word, very excited to read. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear if any of these books pique your interest, if you've read any of these, if you have any recommendations off the back of these, because as always, I want to grow my mountain of a TBR, because what is a better feeling than having far too many books to read, and having far too many choices in terms of books, because it just makes it so exciting, doesn't it? So yes, again, I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a wonderful day or night, and until next time, friends, bye!